setting new standards in podcast excellence. You have joined the WBT, fully focused on business and taxes. Here is your host, Michael Lodge.
And welcome to another podcast with Michael Lodge. So today we're just going to have a conversation about random issues. I'll be right back.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.
So here we are, it's a Sunday. I don't know where you're at, but here in Palm Beach it is cloudy today. It looks like we could get some rain this afternoon. I read a really good quote by Winston Churchill that I'll summarize it, which said, "It's great to have a strategy, but you have to look at the results." In other words, you have to look at what you planned, what you wrote down on paper that's going to be your documentation to what you're going to do for the day or for the year. It's that planning session. It's that strategy that you put down. Yeah, and you have to look at this not just in business, but you have to look at strategy in politics too. Strategy in government, strategy in religion, strategy. There's lots of various places where you have to look at how the strategy is working. But then you also have to look and say, and ask yourself, is that really the right strategy to take because it doesn't look like it's working? Strategy is the whole purpose of getting things done. I always tell my clients, get yourself a journal, write down your strategy every day or for the whole year or for next year, and start planning what you're going to do. But you also have to start looking at what you've done in the current year, what hasn't worked and what has worked, weed out the things, tweak it a bit, and see what you're going to do for 2020, for the next year. Same thing in politics. If you look at the strategy of what you see in Washington at the moment, the strategy is getting nothing done. And when nothing is getting done, that means we, the people, have nothing to show for it. And the more that political hate begins to build, nothing gets done. No matter which side that you're on, if there's political hate, there's nothing will be accomplished. But let's get back to business, because I've talked too much this weekend already about politics. The issue that you and I have to work on is our own personal planning, our own personal strategy. That's why there are specific rules that you need to follow in order to stay out of debt. How to spend your money wisely. How to build up those emergency funds that you will need at some point in time. These are our own personal objectives, goals and objectives that we need to meet. In business, we do this every single day. We sit down with our team because we want to make sure that all of our team, everybody around us, knows what our goals and expectations and objectives are going to be for the next year, or for the day, or for the month, or for the week, or whatever the period that you're looking at. You need to have that strategy. And everybody around you needs to understand what that strategy is. Otherwise, it will never get done. The problem, if you look at the politics strategy, there's one side that has a strategy to impeach, but are not getting anything done. And that is where the danger lies, is when we do not accomplish what we want to get done. And our goals and objectives are always to take care of our needs. Personally, on our personal side, what are our responsibilities? Take care of our housing, to take care of food so that our family can eat, we take care of a job, take care of our financial, take care of emergencies, pay our bills. Those are our responsibilities, and that's what we plan for. And looking at our retirement programs, that is what our responsibilities are, and to put whatever we have back, whatever we have, back into our family or back into our communities. That is also what government is supposed to do. Government is supposed to take our tax money and spend it wisely. Provide the necessary funding to take care of our roads, to take care of our security, to take care of our airways, to take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. It is not to be wasted. It is not to be used in order to take down a president or a country, or to do away with the Constitution. That's not what our tax dollars are supposed to be spent for. So constitutionally, Congress has failed. They have defaulted on their oath of office. Okay, enough about politics. I think it's just that it makes me so pissed off in seeing what's going on in this nation that it just comes out of me momentarily. We as Americans are responsible for our financial affairs. We have to be fiscally responsible. If we're spending too much money, we need to cut back. If we don't have an emergency fund to take care of those when the tire pops, or when an accident happens or something where you have to pay the deductible, if you don't have an emergency fund to take care of that, it goes out of your savings. Planning is so essential. I don't know how to explain this to you, except that if you're not planning, you're not going to get anywhere. If you're not writing it down on a piece of paper in your journal, you're not going to accomplish anything. I tell you, I started journaling because the computer thing just wasn't working, because every time I would sit down to write something to remember it, I would get sidetracked on a YouTube video, or somebody sent me an email, or a text message came through, or something happened that it just did not work for me to put my goals and expectations and my planning for the next year on a piece of paper. I mean, in the computer, not on the piece of paper. So what I did is I got a journal, and I take that journal. At the very front of the journal, I plan, like I've already bought my 2020 journal. So I've sat down and I'm beginning to plan out what I need to accomplish and do in 2020. It's at the very front of my journal, so I know exactly where it's at, and I can go back to it and I can revisit it. Every single day, I sit down and I journal more. And I put down on what my accomplishments are going to be for that day. And as I get them done, I check them off. I know I've done it. If I didn't, I move it to the next day and we start again. And that becomes my number one priority to finish whatever I didn't finish the day before. But that is part of planning. Churches have to plan. They have to sit down. They say, okay, what is our budget for this year? What are we going to do spiritually? How are we going to move our congregation? There's a whole planning session that churches go through. charitable organizations do planning. So why in the world of businesses, charitable organizations, churches, hospitals, everybody else is doing planning except individuals? It's so important that you sit down, buy yourself a journal, sit down, and write out your plan for 2020. You've got from October, November, December, you've got 3 months, 2 months and a half now to get done what needs to happen. Excuse me. I ponder sometimes and I think, again, do we as Americans, are we that lazy that we just live from paycheck to paycheck and we don't do any type of planning on anything? Oh, we plan our vacations. We're really good at that. We love planning our vacations. The problem is that we hate, or we find it hard to do, planning our year-to-year budgeting. So I encourage every single one of you, get your journal, get it now. Start your planning. October, November, December. By December, January, you should have it all ready to go and start living it and start working it and start executing it. And that's how you're going to get ahead financially. And you're not going to have those big arguments that you used to have, because now both of you, and I say both of you because both of you are going to sit down and write out your plan. Because it is a joint effort. Not just one person does it, because that's going to fail. Because he's going to, or she is going to hold that over you, and you guys are going to have more fights because you did not sit down and plan it together. And then you set out your budgets for every single day of how much you're going to spend. How much you're going to spend on a weekly basis, a monthly basis. It's not that difficult. I should probably write another book. In fact, I think I will do another book. I did a book called Ethically Thinking. It's not that difficult, and it's on Amazon. Go to Amazon.com and you can find it there. I think I'll do another book that's called I'll keep that as a surprise. But it's going to be about being financially secure, financially sound, financially thinking. It's not that difficult. We, as individuals, have a responsibility. It's a fiscal responsibility. And we need to start practicing it every single day. If you want to retire without having to struggle, plan it. If you want to have a good financial life for your family and that you can pay cash for your children's education or whatever it may be, plan it. It's not that difficult. This is Mike Lodge. If you have any questions or comments, text me, 818-252-5682, 818-252-5682, and I'll be more than happy to sit down and talk with you. Go to Amazon.com, buy my book. It's been out for a year, Ethically Thinking. It's Not That Difficult by Michael Lodge. Talk with you soon, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the WBT with Michael Lodge. Join us again tomorrow as we explore more about business and taxes. Follow us on iHeartRadio and go to our podcast website at www.wbtpod.com and listen to all of our podcasts and read our blogs.
This podcast has been produced and written by Michael Lodge, fully focused on